Welcome back to my channel. I hope that you enjoy the video today, and if this is your first time here, I hope that you'll subscribe and stick around. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I can butter to make it shelf stable. Now, I'm going to start with a disclaimer. I believe in my kitchen, my rules, and I am a rebel canner. Not everything that I do is FDA approved, and today is no exception. There has been no testing for canning dairy products. So canning dairy is not FDA or USDA approved. Still, I do research and I try to determine the whys and the why nots behind the guidelines changing over time. And I personally do not think untested necessarily means unsafe. This is the way that my grandmother did it. I've done some research. There are a lot of YouTubers out there who have posted videos who do it exactly this way. I am comfortable processing it in this manner. That being said, when I record videos and I upload them for you to watch, I am not in any way telling you to do it this way. I'm sharing with you how I do it in my kitchen. I encourage you to please do the research and find what works for you in your kitchen. Now, I am going to be pressure canning, so I will be using my Presto 23 quart pressure canner, and I've added the rack and I've got the water in, I've got it on low. I have washed and rinsed and sanitized my jars, and I have them in the dishwasher on the plate warmer sanitizing cycle. And what I have done is I have melted 7 pounds of butter. Now, when I say melted, I mean melted. I'm not making clarified butter, I'm not making ghee, I'm jarring butter. And I'm going to be working in half-pint jars today. Grab my funnel. And I'm going to be working 2 or 3 at a time because hot ingredients, hot canner, hot jars. The jars are pretty warm. Alright, so... and there are several steps to this. We're going to pressure can this for 60 minutes, and then we're going to take it out and we're going to let it cool, and after it's cooled for about 30 minutes, then about every 30 minutes or so we're going to come back and turn it so that this can be redistributed. The milk solids separate from the butter fat. So as I'm filling jars, I'm going to give it a little bit of a stir, and I'm going to scoop from the bottom so that I'm getting both parts, and I'm going to fill these to a 1-inch headspace. Now, 1 inch visually is the bottom of the band right there of your jar. And again, I'm scooping from the bottom so that I get milk solids and fat. And I'm using unsalted butter. I have found, and other people have mentioned this as well, salted butter ends up being grainy when it mixes back together. Alright, so that has those 3 filled. Now, this is very, very important on a couple of levels. I am going to wipe the tops of my jars with vinegar. That will cut any fat that's there that might prevent me from getting a seal. However, when I do that, I'm going to be very, very careful not to introduce vinegar into the butter. Vinegar will cause dairy products to curdle. So I'm going to dip my towel, and I'm going to squeeze it out as dry as I can. And I'm going to wipe the rims, being careful not to get any of that vinegar inside the jar. These are hot, so be careful. Right? And because we are pressure canning, it is no longer considered necessary to simmer your lids for pressure canning. So I'm going to put the lids on, finger tight. Right, and as you can see, that is very much separated. You can see the milk solids at the bottom, and we will take care of that as we process them after they come out of the canner and as they start to cool. And now I will say, if you're going to can butter, you don't want to do this an hour before bedtime thinking that you're going to leave it sitting on your counter to cool overnight. We've all done that with other things. But butter requires attention for a few hours after you're finished with the canning process. So I am going to go ahead and finish filling all of my jars and get them in the canner. 7 pounds of butter should give me 14 to 15 half pints. It's 2 sticks per half pint. Pints a pound. And I have my rack sitting back there, so I'll probably have at least 2 layers in my canner. So I'm going to go ahead and finish filling jars, and once I get that done, I will bring you back. We're pressure canning, so I'm using my 23-quart Presto pressure canner today, and I've done the safety inspection. I've checked the gasket, and I've made sure the locks are, and the valve is in good shape, and the vent pipe is in good shape. So I'm gonna close up the canner. Mine has arrows that you match up, and then you twist the handles. And I'm gonna turn this up, and I'm gonna let it come up to steam, and once it comes up to steam, I will bring you back. So we have a steady stream of steam coming out the vent pipe, and I'm not sure if you can see that, but there is a steady stream flowing. And I've set the timer for 10 minutes. We're going to vent for 10 minutes, and when that 10 minutes is up, I'll bring you back. We'll put the regulator on, and we'll bring it up to pressure. While we're waiting on the timer, I wanted to take just a second and explain that I am canning by weight. I am using the weighted pressure regulator. So this comes in 3 pieces. The base is 5 pounds, and each ring adds an additional 5 pounds. For my altitude, I can at 10 pounds weighted or 11 pounds by gauge. So I'll be canning at 10 pounds for my weighted regulator today. And I will leave a link in the description below for a website where you can get your altitude. All right, the timer has gone off, so I'm going to put my regulator on. Now, once this comes up to pressure, the regulator will start to rock or jiggle. And when that happens, I will adjust the element on my stove. My sweet spot is about medium-low to hold a good pressure for me. And I will set a timer. Now, I'm going to process this for 60 minutes. And when that 60 minutes is up, I'm going to shut the stove off, and I'm going to let it come down off of pressure. And you'll know that it's safe for you to remove your regulator and open your canner when this lock drops. It's still hot, there's still steam, but it's not under pressure anymore. So I'm going to let this come up to pressure, and I'm going to let it process for 60 minutes and let it cool down, and then I will bring you back. Okay, the canner came up to pressure. We processed for 60 minutes. I turned the stove off, and now it has come down off of pressure, and the lock has dropped. So I'm going to remove the regulator, and I'm going to open the canner. Now, You want to open slowly and away from you because there is still a lot of steam in here. Oh, you can hear them sealing. It's a beautiful snapping sound. They are just sealing, sealing, sealing. That is lovely. Okay, I'm going to take these out and I'm going to set them on a towel. I'm actually putting these on a tray because I'm going to move them to the dining room. Now, normally, when you can, you take them out of your canner and you don't touch them for 16 to 24 hours, overnight usually. And then you take off the rings and you check the seals and you label them and put them away. So butter is a little different. We are going to let this cool. It is still just bubbling. It's beautiful. We are going to let this cool for 30 to 45 minutes. And then we are going to give it a gentle shake. And we are going to continue to do that about every 30 minutes until the milk solids and the fats are no longer separated. Let me pull that one up so you can look. It is just bubbling away in there. It is just bubbling away. It is beautiful. And they're sealing as I take them out. Which is, if you're a canner, you know that that is a musical. So you can see the milk solids at the bottom and the fats at the top. Over the course of the next 3 or 4 hours as these cool, we'll shake them gently just to reincorporate everything together. And I'll bring you along for that as I do them. We're going to let them cool for about 40 minutes before we give them their first shake. Okay, these have cooled for about, I don't know, 35 minutes or so. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick each one up and I'm going to give it a shake. They're still hot. And that mixes the milk solids back into the butter fat. And I'm going to continue to do this about every 30 minutes until they no longer separate. This first one that I shook has already started to separate. So as they cool, they'll stop separating. So I'll come by and I'll do this about every 25-30 minutes. Alright, so I'm going to continue to shake these about every half an hour for the next several hours, probably 5 or 6 shakes. And when I am down to what I think will be the last one, I will bring you back so you can see how they look. Okay, I'm back and I'm going to give them a final shake. They didn't really separate much since the last time that I shook them. I've shook them about every 25 minutes for the past 3.5 hours. This is the 8th time for me to shake them, and I think this will be the last shake. They're still kind of liquid. However, they aren't separating like they were before. There's a little bit, but very little separation. So tomorrow, I will come back and I will recheck all the seals. Everything's sealed, everything pinged. So tomorrow I'll come back and I'll check all the seals. And I will wash them and I will label them and put them in the pantry. And this is good for, I've been told it's good for up to 5 years. Mine has never really lasted that long. I have used some for as long as 3 years. I think 3 years is about the oldest that I've ever used. So again, this is not an FDA approved method of storing or processing or canning butter. Dairy products are not approved for canning, and this is just the way that I do it. Thank you so much for watching the video today, and I do hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, please be sure to hit the thumbs up, give me a like, and I hope that if you like videos like this, you'll subscribe and stick around, and if you hit the notification bell, they'll let you know when I upload a new video. Thank you again for watching, and have a great rest of your day.